Making it into the NPL is a lifelong dream, honestly. Just like any professional league you could do just by video games is a dream come true for all of us.
The first week of NPL, we didn't really play that well. We were out of our element in terms of not having a lot of practice, and we were also just not really familiar with the spot we were playing. I feel like personally I kind of overthought like the play style we needed to play a little bit. When we changed spots, we changed the play style like a lot, and after seeing week one and us not doing that well, I kind of realized that just because we changed spots doesn't mean that we have to play like necessarily a different way, and kind of, you know, I kind of figured out how we needed to play into the current meta, and just to do well with all of the point systems and circle changes and stuff like that.
The setting change was big because we were a team who would loot like the outside of the map, and then we'd like, you know, come in very late and wrap the outside of the circle. But with the new settings, the circle moves a lot quicker, so we weren't really allowed to be as methodical and like slow and like wrap orientated with our like strategy. So it changed everything completely. Now we play from the center of the map instead of the outside, and yeah, changed everything.
So we didn't get much practice coming up to week one because the hotel we were staying at had some internet problems, and even before that I was back in my home country of New Zealand, where I couldn't really play too much because I had to organise the big move to America. So we kind of just went in a bit underprepared.
During week one of the NPL, we weren't really happy with how we played at all. We did kind of look at it on the bright side in terms of we did play better than United and Ghost, which are pretty good teams, and we actually had higher scores than them. So, you know, we did realize that, hey, we played this bad, but we were only 5 points away from fifth, I think, going into day 2 of the first week. So I think day 2 for us was really the worst day out of the first week. You know, we had a decent game on day 1, but, you know, even though you play better than some teams that maybe have underperformed, we realized that we needed to play a lot better and like make changes in how we were playing going into week 2.
Game 2 of week 1, we had to push into Picado, and the circle ended inside the casino, which is a pretty rare place for a circle to end, and an especially difficult place for it to end because of the amount of levels there are to that building. We managed to push in, we managed to wipe out a couple of the teams in there, and it ended up being me in a 1v1 against someone who I had no chance of killing because he was up on a roof and I couldn't see him and the circle was closing in, and unfortunately I couldn't heal in time to outlive him in the blue zone, and he won the game.
So going into week 2, we'll have an entire week of scrim starting at noon. It's about 6 games every day. So hopefully we're using that to push what we're trying to accomplish in this new meta, which is taking more fights and not being afraid of other teams, and just trying to build confidence as much as we can.
So leading up to week 2, we were able to practice a lot more because we actually had internet, so we were able to scrim and like really like solidify our play style.
I think we are adapting to the new game settings really well as a team. We're definitely like a team that's open to changing different things and trying different things. I feel like one of our biggest strengths is that we can win fights and like hit shots. So, and generally like we're all very communicative and aware. No one on the team is like really quiet. Everybody usually voices their opinion about different things. So as long as we're able to like, you know, keep our communication under control and stuff like that, we usually can win fights. I think it's most dangerous to us if we get, you know, flanked in from behind and something we're not ready for. But as long as we're ready for it, I feel like we can pretty much take on anybody or win any fight in the NPL.
There's a couple of strategies that we're working on. It's really either playing more passive or playing more aggressive, and we're trying to kind of decide which one we're more going for. It depends on each game, it depends on the map, depends on where the circle goes, but being able to kind of change on the fly what we're going to do between those two strategies should help us.
As far as teams in the NPL go, I wouldn't say we're really worried about anyone. The strongest teams to fight are obviously like Whites and Fate, Tempo, Cloud9. All those teams have really good fraggers. Shoot to Kill has really good positioning and generally like work very well together as well. Those are kind of like 4 of the stronger teams that we probably face off against every week. I feel like, you know, we're pretty confident like we're not really going to try to back down from any team if the situation's right for us. Like, we try to take good fights so we can win. If we feel like we can win the fight, we'll take it. It doesn't really matter like what team it's against.
I think overall, week 2 is a lot better than week 1. We actually like knew how we were going to play, and we knew our drop spots, and we were just a lot more comfortable because we were able to practice leading up to it.
Yeah, my performance in week 2 wasn't very good. We ended up with 38 points throughout the week, which is very good. Especially the last day, I don't know, I couldn't kill anybody. I was getting caught out. It wasn't good. However, my teammates pulled through. Got us from 11th to 5th.
During the first win, which was game 4 of day 1 of the second week, we basically just took a compound kind of in the middle of the circle. Since we dropped middle map, it was actually really close to our drop spot. We kind of wanted to take the one more west of it. Actually went there solo, and then Cloud9 drove up to the compound. So when you're solo in a compound, you basically kind of have different options. You can try to make noise so a team is deterred from actually going there. But in this type of meta, people really want kills. So if they know you're solo at a compound, they might crash you anyway and try to kill you. So I actually left and went to the next compound, which we thought wasn't as good, just for different like vision reasons and access to certain areas of the map. And it was kind of funny because we actually, the game actually ended between the 2 compounds. So, we were able to keep 4 up. We honestly got a little bit lucky that it came to the compound, but I feel like when we had to leave the compound, we really played the game correctly for the most part. We left, we got our kills, and we just tried to make sure we were taking fights together and, secure the win.
Day 2, game 1 of the second week of NPL, we got a pretty good win. I think we got 11 kills overall, and it ended in Pachinki. We took quite a good vantage point early in the game up on one of the hills, and as soon as we saw the circle had covered pretty much most of Pachinki, we decided to breach in there and to take the flat top, which is a power position in that city. Fortunately, the circle decided to feed us every single time, which really helped, but we also got a lot of kills off that, so it's not like we just sat there and did nothing. We definitely worked for our chicken dinner.
The team's plan to continue to rise up on the leaderboard is definitely take what we can in scrims leading up to the coming weeks. That means taking more fights if that's what we have to do. Just playing out of our minds, I suppose.